Hello. So today we are going to look at a question of equation of straight lines, and the question says a line L passes through the point 3,1 and is perpendicular to the line 2y is equals to 4x plus 5. Determine the equation of L in double intercept format. So in this particular case we have two lines. We have the first line which runs that way, and along that line we have a point 3,1, and then we have another line perpendicular to it, and this other line we have been given the equation, and the equation is 2y is equal to 4x plus 5. So one thing we should know about perpendicular lines is that if the gradient of this first line is m1 and the gradient of this second line is m2, when you take m1 and then you multiply by m2, that is going to be -1. So I can easily get the gradient of m1 if I know the one for m2. And for m2, for me to be able to know it, I write the equation in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. So in this particular case, it means I'll take 2y is equals to 4x plus 5, and I'll divide everything by 2 so that y remains alone. So that and that will go. I'll have y is equals to 2 here once, 2 here twice, so it will be equal to 2x plus 5 over 2. So in this particular case, the value for m, this m here, is going to be this 2. So now we know that our m2 is going to be 2. Now we can take this and replace in that equation for us to be able to get what m1 is. So we'll come and say, when we take m1 and then we multiply by m2, that is going to be -1. But m1 we don't know, m2 we know it is 2 is equals to -1. So I'll divide this side by 2 and this side by 2. And if we do that, we'll get our answer to be m1 will be equal to -1/2. Now this is going to be the gradient of this other line. But on this other line, we now know the gradient and we have one point which is 3,1. And using those two, we can easily know what the equation of the line will be. So to do that, we'll take the point 3,1 and then we take another point xy, and the gradient is supposed to be -1/2. So in this particular case, we'll get the change in y over change in x. So the change in y, if this one is x1 y1 and this one is x2 y2, for us to be able to get the equation of that line, we'll come and say gradient is equal to change in y over change in x, and this will be equal to change in y is y minus 1, change in x is x minus 3, is equals to -1 over 2. So we solve for this by cross multiplying, and when you do that, we'll have 2 into y minus 1 is be equal to -1 into x minus 3. So when you open those brackets, we'll have 2y minus 2 will be equal to -x plus 3. Now these 2 and that 3 are like terms, so that will cross the equal sign and go the other side, and when that happens, we'll have 2y will be equal to -x plus 3 plus 2, which will be plus 5. Now this will be the answer, and this answer can be written in different formats, but in this particular case they want us to write in double intercept format, which is x over a plus y over b is equals to 1. So in this particular case, first thing we have to make sure that y and x are on the same side. So we'll have 2y plus x is equals to 5. In this case, I've taken x the other side, and then after doing that, I make sure this number should always be 1. So if it is 5, I'll divide everything by 5. so that this and will go here once, there one, so that now we are going to have 2y 2 over 5, actually 2y over 5, and then plus x over 5 is equal to 1. And then the other thing we notice here is that in double intercept, x and y is supposed to remain alone here. So you're supposed to take these two to be a denominator, and to be able to do that, when a number becomes part of the denominator, you reciprocate, so that in this particular case this will become y over 5 over 2, and then plus x over 5 is equals to 1. And the reason why when it goes down it reciprocates is because when you try to work out this part, y divided by 5 over 2, it will be the same as y times 2 over 5, which will be 2 over 5 y, which will be what it was originally. So in essence, we are just writing it in the same way, but making sure that y remains alone on top and x remains alone on top. So this will be the answer in double intercept format. And if they ask what's the y-intercept and what's the x-intercept, they want to know where does this particular line cut the x and y-axis when they are drawn. And those are easily gotten from this. This value is the x-intercept, which is 5, 0. And this one here is the y-intercept, which is 0, and 5 over 2 is 2.5. So in case you're asked for the intercepts themselves, you give them in terms of a coordinate. So this is how you work out this question, and the same question can be worked out in case the two lines were parallel. Then the only thing that will vary is this part here. For perpendicular lines, m1 times mk is equals to -1, and for parallel lines, m1 will always be equal to m2. I hope it has been understood. We'll stop there for today. Thank you and have a nice time. We'll meet again.